I hope this Star Trek Strange New Worlds couple doesn't break up in Season 3. I hope Captain Christopher Pike, Anson Mount, and Captain Marie Batel, Melanie Scrofano, don't break up in Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3. Of course, this is assuming Batel survives her infection by the Gorn at the end of Strange New Worlds Season 2. Last seen in a protective medical bubble in sick bay, Captain Batel is relying on Nurse Christine Chapel, Jess Bush, to find a miracle cure for the Gorn eggs in Marie's body, threatening to burst forth and kill her. But if Batel and Pike make it through this Gorn crisis, I sincerely hope their romance continues. Captain Marie Batel is one of the first new characters introduced in Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Marie is first seen with Christopher Pike in Strange New World series premiere when he is contemplating retiring from Starfleet. The captain of the USS Cayuga, Batel is a welcome recurring presence on Strange New Worlds. Even when their relationship was tested when Marie was the Starfleet prosecutor at the trial of Pike's No. 1, LT, Commander Una Chin Riley, Rebecca Romijn, Pike and Batel didn't call it quits. Still, it could happen in Strange New Worlds Season 3, but I believe it would be better if the captain's romance continued. Pike and Batel's Strange New Worlds relationship is very different for Star Trek. Captain Pike's relationship with Captain Batel is something Star Trek hasn't done before. While it's a common trope for the captain of the Enterprise to have romantic liaisons, Batel and Pike on Strange New Worlds is the first romance between two starship captains audiences are seeing play out. Beyond the chemistry Anson Mount and Melanie Scrofano share as Chris and Marie, it's also been fascinating to see two captains make a relationship work. Pike and Batel uniquely understand the pressures and burdens of command, and they've committed to working through their issues to keep their love aflame. It's a new kind of Star Trek captain's love story that hasn't peaked yet. Star Trek Discovery did something similar with Captain Michael Burnham, Sonequa Martin Green, and Cleveland Booker, David Ajala, but Book wasn't a member of Starfleet, which brought its own unique complications. Pike and Batel are as well matched as Discovery's top couple. Burnham and Boom got a happy ending in Star Trek Discovery. While Pike's fate in Star Trek, the original series, is already known, and Chris has even tried to evade it, Batel is one of the few points of happiness in his life beyond being captain of the Enterprise. I'm also glad Star Trek is finally telling stories about captains pursuing happy romantic relationships. There is no need for Strange New Worlds to rush to Pike's Star Trek to its ending. Everyone, including and especially Captain Pike, knows that in Star Trek, the original series, he is horribly disfigured in a Delta Ray accident and confined to a wheelchair. Ultimately, Spock, Leonard Nimoy, risks his Starfleet career to deliver Fleet Captain Pike, Sean Kenny, to Talos 4, where he can live in an illusion where he is once more a whole man. Also waiting for Pike on Talos 4 is Vina, Susan Oliver, who is Chris's endgame relationship since they will be confined to Talos 4 for the rest of their lives. But even with this foreknowledge, there is no rush for Strange New Worlds Season 3 to bring about Captain Pike's fate in Star Trek, the original series. Yes, it appears inevitable that Captain Pike and Captain Batel's love story won't last, but there is still plenty of mileage to go in their relationship. What's truly interesting will be the journey still to come for Chris and Marie. With only so many years before his inescapable doom, Captain Pike deserves his happiness, and Captain Batel has been an excellent match and partner for him. Considering what is destined to happen, there's no reason to bring Pike and Batel's romance to a premature end in Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3. In the Star Trek universe, relationships often endure the same challenges as any other: distance, duty, and the complications of spacefaring life. Star Trek Strange New Worlds has carved out a unique place within this iconic franchise by reintroducing us to the USS Enterprise in the era before Captain Kirk's legendary tenure, helmed by Captain Christopher Pike. Among the many adventures and character dynamics in the show, one of the most engaging and heartwarming has been the budding relationship between Spock and Nurse Christine Chapel. As Strange New Worlds heads into its third season, fans are eagerly awaiting what will become of the star-crossed couple, but there's also a sense of apprehension. Will Spock and Chapel survive the emotional turbulence ahead, or will they fall prey to the challenges that often beset relationships on the final frontier? A relationship built on slow-burn chemistry, Spock and Chapel's relationship is a delightful mix of tension, warmth, and complexity. From the beginning of the series, we've seen Christine Chapel's affection for Spock grow from professional admiration to something much deeper. What makes their connection so special is the slow, organic way it has unfolded over the past 2 seasons. It's not a simple case of love at first sight, but rather a careful evolution of emotions set against the backdrop of their shared experiences aboard the Enterprise. For Chapel, a human nurse with a sharp wit and a deep sense of loyalty, her attraction to Spock isn't just about his mysterious Vulcan demeanor. She is drawn to his intellect, his sense of duty, and the vulnerability he struggles to reconcile with his Vulcan upbringing. Her feelings for him have grown in the quiet moments, in the unsaid words and unspoken glances, which makes their connection feel genuine and deeply human. On the other hand, Spock, who is constantly at war with his human emotions and Vulcan logic, is clearly intrigued by Chapel's warmth and compassion. She represents something he doesn't often allow himself to indulge in: emotion, spontaneity, and the complexities of interpersonal connection. Yet, because Spock is half Vulcan and values control and logic, his feelings for Chapel present a profound conflict, which makes their relationship all the more compelling. Challenges ahead in Season 3. Heading into Season 3, there are numerous factors that could potentially put their relationship at risk. One of the most prominent is Spock's internal struggle with his identity. As a character who has always been defined by his struggle to balance his Vulcan and human sides, Spock's emotional growth is a major theme in the series. While Chapel is helping him embrace his human emotions, there's the ever-present question of whether Spock can allow himself to fully experience love, or whether his dedication to Vulcan logic will push him away from Chapel in the end. In addition to Spock's internal turmoil, the very nature of life aboard the Enterprise poses challenges to any romance. The crew faces constant danger as they explore the unknown reaches of space. Every mission could be their last, and with lives on the line, personal relationships can sometimes feel like a luxury they can't afford. Moreover, duty often takes precedence over personal happiness in Starfleet, and both Spock and Chapel are deeply committed to their roles on the ship. The pressures of their responsibilities, combined with the unpredictability of their missions, could drive a wedge between them as the series progresses. There's also the looming presence of T'Pring, Spock's betrothed back on Vulcan. Season 2 showed us that Spock and T'Pring's relationship, while arranged, is not without its own complexities. Spock is bound by Vulcan tradition, and it's clear that breaking off his engagement with T'Pring would have significant consequences. The tension between his obligations to T'Pring and his feelings for Chapel will undoubtedly come to a head in Season 3, forcing Spock to make difficult choices about his future. Why they should stay together despite the obstacles they face, Spock and Chapel's relationship offers something deeply refreshing in the Star Trek universe, a genuine connection that feels earned. In a franchise often focused on exploration and philosophy, it's rare to see a romance unfold with such depth and care. Their relationship is one that fans have become deeply invested in, and for good reason. It provides a balance to the show's high-stakes adventures, offering moments of emotional respite and highlighting the human side of Starfleet's crew. More than that, Chapel brings out a side of Spock that is rarely seen. With her, Spock allows himself to be vulnerable, to question his rigid adherence to logic, and to explore the parts of himself he usually keeps buried. In many ways,